So this is, hopefully this is loud enough for you guys. This is gate, I think it's gate 40, if I can read that. 49, there we go. And hopefully you guys can see the screen. Should use the mic today. I don't even know where I put my mic. I don't think I've used it in a long time. At least I should plug it in. Plug in my computer. So I'm going to go over gate 49, and that's going to begin tomorrow. So I'll put this up tonight. And that's going to be... Wow, my plug came out. So that's going to be gate 49. That's the revolution. And it's the principle of the rebel. And Chaitan wrote about it as a motion abolishing the old in the interest of supporting a new concept, a new that is aligned with particular principles. So it's the gate. It's also the gate of saying no. So these people who have this gate have the capacity to just say no. Now, of course, if they don't, that's the sound of the wire. I'm just like pulling the wire and it's making a weird noise. But what it is that the 49s have the capacity to say no. Now, they may not know why they say no, especially if they're emotional wave. So they might go to the head to try and figure it out, but there's no rhyme or reason, because because it's emotional, and the solar plexus center is not yet fully aware. That'll be in a couple years. It's getting there. And so this is a gate that comes off the emotional center. And to start out with the technical definition, Ra, I mean, we know this is a part of the channel of sensitivity. This is a mystical channel, the 1949. It's also tribal, and it's about resources and about touch, kinesthetics. So the 49 is the gate of principles, and it establishes the principles of resources, who gets what and what do they get. So it establishes what has to be obeyed. Now it's a tribal, so it's for the tribe. So it's always looking for some kind of obedience. That's its nature. It's a gate of principles, and its potential is the awareness of what is needed or not. So 49 will know what's needed or not. So, as I said, it's not an awareness. It's not like it's a very specific awareness of what is needed. Or why it's needed, but what is needed for sure, but not why. And so it also depends on the wave. If the wave is low, you might not need it so much, or maybe you do, and then when it's the high end of the wave, you need something, or you don't. This is all gates in the solar plexus center operate by the conditioning and the nature of the wave, the emotional wave that goes up and down from hope to hopelessness. Now, Ra talks about how all of our revolutions, all of our principles have been conditioned ignorantly by the nature of the wave. So the awareness potential is also food discrimination. So it's about dictating from the 49 position and establishing the principles about what food should be available and when the food should be available and how to get food. So all this is about organizing the resources for the tribe. So the 49 is an emotional gate, and as such, in its wave, it determines what kind of resources do go where. So the access to food is not guaranteed because it's a long way to the throat. Revolutions are promises, principles are nothing more than empty bags, usually with money inside that has been removed. This is the gate of the sacrificer and the sacrificed. This is the butcher's gate. So Ra's talking about a lot of archetypal energy in this gate. And what he's talking about when he mentions this is the gate of sacrifice and the sacrificer, what he's talking about, he's talking about the ancient covenants that were set forth between man and animal, and killing to survive, and the gradual development into an agrarian culture where the agreements are less rooted to immediate survival. This has to be killed in order for us to eat and survive, for the tribe to eat and survive. So it gets it's a very deep covenant in Gate 49, and I'll get to, because Rudd addresses this as well. But before I go there, I think I'll finish with Chaitan's definition of the revolution and of this gate, and then I'll go into Rudd's interpretation. So, beginning with Chaitan, he talks about, this is the revolution, the rebel, and any revolution brings a wave of change that must be timed rightly and be felt to be practical to have lasting merit. A no reaction evolves to revolution, and that evolves to the rebel. 49 is also a special bridge that attunes with mammals. So there's a connection with animals here. I don't know if these are the animal whisperers. I think it could be that one of the animal whisperer gates. Now, this is going to begin Sunday, and that's going to be February 7th, of course, the Australians, and so is the day before. So this will be February 8th, and we just got off having the impact of the gate prior to this, which is Gate 13, the gate of secrets, the gate of the listener. And so, as we've been experiencing in the collective, all, like millions and millions of pages released, the DOJ websites of the Epstein files, and YouTube is just, and all the social media is just being plastered with every single summary of every single thing they found on it. So now we're being oversaturated with that information. Can't get away from it. What a distraction. What a high level, smoke screen. I just like to wonder what else is going on. What else is happening, what's being plotted at this moment. Perhaps a little plutonic paranoia there, but coming off January 20th to the 28th, about the abduction of the planets from the underworld. I mean, that happened. I mean, the secret coup in China, which Gary and Isabella just did a video on, that's for real. I mean, whether it's real or not, what I mean is that it's political maneuvering that's occurring. There's plots being hatched and coming to culmination. It's almost as if everyone is realizing that they need to have their chips in order. They need to have everything in order for the February 20th perfection of Aries and Neptune. It's like a call is being sent out and a reset is occurring. And Saturn's gonna check the books on everybody, and so everyone's trying to get their story straight, their vision straight. And in a sense, I've been myself going over and over again over the Aries Vortex. I have so many Aries Vortex videos now because you can't just grasp it all in one video. I mean, there's other YouTubers that talk a mile a minute and don't know how to relax with their YouTubes, and so you're just getting hammered on the head with this perfected, most likely AI summary of the Aries Vortex. And it probably sounds good, but it's not about being hammered. I'm not trying to hammer anyone over the head with it. It's just it's you're feeling it, and we're attempting to put words to that feeling. We all feel it. It's like coming down to a final moment. I mean, the momentum from the plutonic abduction of late January And that Mars-Pluto conjunction is just like so much energy that we've been able to, a lot of us, utilize these past couple weeks. I'm just now myself beginning to relax. I was traveling and got to complete more songs for my doom metal album that I'm very happy, very excited about. Kind of making that part of my creative, you know, Aries vortex. And so what it is here, what we have, if I can get back to the matter at hand, we have a week ahead of us where the revolutionary principles of a new way is coming forth. And now we're looking at what we're ready to let go of. And, one example is that is, we look and hear about all this Epstein stuff and, we're putting it in a new context. Like, wait a second, some of this stuff is real, or wait a second, what is this distraction? Whatever it is, it's what's true is that there are revolutions beginning to occur. I mean, this energy is happening, out with the old, in with the new. I think many are realizing this. So this week, what you'll be looking at most likely is what is there, what's over with, what's done with, both in our lives, our individual lives, and for the collective, for the tribe. And we're driven by this need, and it's like very unconscious. It's just something that occurs through us, and it's like this need to get things right. Whatever that means, not to insinuate that there's always a right and a wrong, or good or bad, but just the kind of inclination to move with the feelings of the times of what we're all going through, and to break free from whatever's been formerly kind of established, and I guess to just allow the transformations to occur, or reach breaking point to occur. And it's just we all get that way in our life at some point. It's like we reach that point where I've had it, I'm done, it's time to move on. And there's a contrast here. I mean, gate 29 is about the yes, okay? It's about the commitment to life. And when a 29 doesn't say yes to life, it deals with suicidal ideation. I mean, it's like, it's life. You say yes to life, or you get busy being done with it. I mean, the 29 is a gate that can suffer terribly. It can also just say yes to everything and completely destroy its life also. If you remember that film Yes Man, I think Jim Carrey did that film Yes Man, or was it, I think Yes, or was it about a character that said yes? I forgot the name of that film, but that was a fascinating film. I mean, what lesson did he learn? He said no to everything, so he needed to learn how to say yes. So his therapist told him to just say yes to everything. See, it's the Libran thing. You go through both extremes before you get to a middle way, a balance. And, in human design, we kind of funny. We have a yes gate and a no gate. And the 29's the yes, and the 49's the no. So this gate is characterized by the revolutionary expression of no. No, we're done. No, you can't. No, you can't behave in that way. No, you can't just ride roughshod over how I feel. You have to hear my side of it. No, you can't just talk over me. You need to listen to what I'm saying too. This is something I've been talking about. Like, there's this tendency, and it's especially common with the 2343. I have that myself, where that gate can express, that channel can express itself as a channel of deafness, not wanting to listen to others. So it has to make real effort to listen and to allow others to speak. But it's also endemic to the opposite. A lot of 2343s also can catalyze other people to speak, and then it's the opposite. They're just like quiet and don't say anything, and the other person talks for 6 days, and they're just like outright exhausted. So the 2343 channel, the structure is also kind of suffers from the extremes until it can find a balance and assert itself and say, oh, thanks for sharing. I'm gonna, if this has nothing to do with me, I'm gonna move on, and but really what we're looking at here is we're looking at revolution. And so the most effective form of communication relative to this gate is going to be that which addresses the tribe or the communal, and as such offers ways for practical improvement and growth. And this week we're going to see that and feel that very clearly. You can see that this gate, the 49 down here, is actually operating with a full channel. We got the 19 activated by Mars. So Mars is activating collective unification. And the 49, and so that's together creating this mystical possibility of transformation. So we may start to see a lot of the blow-ups from these files being released. And not even that, but just all the political maneuvering that's occurring. We may start to see more of those fires start. And already a lot of them have started. And, we're moving towards the vortex. So some of these fires will get out of control. And we're going to see some disclosures, I guess, is the term. I don't like that term. It's too often associated with UFO stuff, which I don't know what there's to disclose about that. That's all here. It's all been here forever. But there are some interesting stuff, obviously, connected to certain things like that. But what I'm talking about here is just, if you've reached a point of starvation, depletion, neglect, or just things not like you having pushed yourself or pretzeled yourself into such a way, like you're done with that now. I mean, you're done. I mean, the 47 is going to be 48, sorry, 49 gate 49, gateway 49 is going to activate for all of us our revolutionary voice and fervor. And it's about coming back to a place where, wait a second, we've been here before, over and over again. And this time, that's it, we're done. So, the other relationship is fascinating here is those that have the 47 have a great awareness and discernment for how the bloodlines and the lineage of humanity works. So people that study the blood, study where someone's from, or try to find family members for others, they may have this talent. You might want to find someone with the 49 if you're looking for that. There can be an obsession with details, needing to get certain things right with this gate. So usually I like to remind clients with this gate that you don't need to get everything right. You just need to, bring forth the transformation. It is a mystical channel. And this is a gate of courage. This is a gate of having courage. To say the no. I mean, there's great courage in saying no. Most humans have trouble with saying no. They have 27 or the 50, or they have an open emotional center, afraid of conflict. And there could be a fear of saying no, but, in this case with the activation of the 49 this week, say your no's if you need to. You'll have some extra added power. If you want to break old patterns of codependency, it's a great week to do it. Now, the shadow resonance or frequency that Rudd describes in this gate is reactionary. So he talks about it in the sense of our relationship connect us to tribal consciousness. So he brings up the bond. And he talks about the reactive patterns in this gate is a fire, is an ignition to relationships, to the sexual aspect of relationships. And this fear, or this particular kind of fear, governs all emotional and sexual patterns at an unconscious level. So there's a deep sensitivity here in this gate and channel. And he presents this shadow part of the gate, which is the lowest frequency expression, as just reactiveness. And we as humans, a lot of us suffer from reactiveness. Just reacting. Not responding, but reacting. And the 49 is about tribal consciousness, so it's about a collective view, a collective emergence. And so there can be a lot of fears here, the fear of being severed from the feeling of unity and from the collective. And usually the 19 kind of covers that. The 19 has got a gate that encourages the need to be with the tribe, and connect with the tribe, with others. But the new awareness, as Rudd likes to say, is, and I think we all are becoming aware of this, that you are never ever disconnected from anyone you've ever known. All you have to do is see their image in your mind, or think about them, and that's it, you're reconnected. It's also kind of disturbing and difficult when you want to keep a separation, because we are never not disconnected from anyone we've ever known. And that's because it's just auric connection. Like, we're connected to everyone by aura. It's not physical anymore. At least at this level of evolution, it's through us, it's not. And that connection's real powerful. So the realization now is that we're not ever disconnected from another person. We're not. And even if they passed on, like, many reports still fit in that connection as well. So there's new awarenesses to realize relative that also help to move this frequency, this kind of shadow frequency, to the gift, which is a higher kind of representation of the energy. And in repression, there's people that who have this gate and they just have no reaction. They just shut down. Everything's shut down. They're just kind of dried up. And so there's no vulnerability exposed. They're just kind of disappointed with the other or with life and don't want to expose any vulnerability. So it's non-reactive. The repression, the reactive can be rejecting before rejected, or push others away very quickly. And that's of course difficult as well. And that would be a quick reactive, response. Oh, and not response. It's a reaction instead of a response. Now, the gift is called the silent revolution, and it longs to reform the ineffective ways that society operates, or how society operates. So it's about the deep underbelly of limitations imposed on civilizations. And Rudd talks about it, that there are certain aspects of the past that must be kept in tact and nurtured to fulfillment. And this is about a sense of calm. So this is about kind of recognizing the gift energy, that we don't have to be reactive beings. We can in fact pause and have a calm sense of the need for change, and to allow change to be. without reacting to the panic of the distinction of that difference. The feeling of separation, for example, physical separation, we could all of a sudden start to feel the trauma of that, but then realize, wait a second, I'm always connected to this person. I'm not separate. And thus the gift as represented in this particular gate is about accepting what's and allowing for what's done to be done and to be okay with what's new. And this lesson in the 49 is it's just so synchronistic with what the Aries vortex is. On the day of the Aries vortex, if many haven't felt it already with the shift of Neptune into Aries, February 14th, we're going to have Saturn into Aries. And already, as usually I like to describe the impact of transits before it even occurs. And so it feels like we're already feeling it, like something is lost. And so we can tap into the nostalgia of that, or we can tap into the allowance of the new. We could do both. But in order to gain something new, it means we're losing something. And many of us, myself included, already feel this kind of nostalgia for something that we've lost. There's something lost. It already feels like. And February 20th will start to make that shift kind of clear. Something is opened up and is being lost to the next step. And I guess it's correct. I guess that's the way it moves. The world moves forth, and that's it. We're in the new. And the city that Red describes is rebirth. And it's like a separation. He calls it a mystical divorce, an impetus to give birth to something new, to rebirth of a kind of freedom, a rebuild after disillusionment. I didn't even write it properly. I think honestly because I was exhausted with his interpretation. Freedom is something that it's just not that simple. It's another word that's lost its meaning because it's so overused. But there's so many aspects to it, because to be free from certain things means that we're going to be held in something else. So there's many examples I could use, I guess, for like a child to be, a child wants to ride a bike, so learns to ride a bike sometimes. Sometimes, I don't think I did, but some children learn to ride bikes with training wheels, for example. So then, at some point they have to give that up, the comfort, the ease of that, to learning how to ride a bike, 2 wheels instead of 4. Is there something lost in that? Yeah, there's a certain level of safety or satiation lost in that. But then there's a freedom in the new. But it's a more dangerous freedom. I just remember, like with anything new, if you don't practice it enough, you're going to forget it. And you're going to want to go back to the old and the easy. So these new muscles that we're all exercising with the advent of the changes that are occurring, it's a muscle that we have to it's a pattern a new pattern that we're getting into. That's what it is. And at least we're prepared, at least we're mentally prepared here. Because this 49 is also transmuting, changing, transforming, because it's a part of the change. It's a part of the change of the sleeping phoenix, and the right angle cross of planning to the 2027 cross of the sleeping phoenix. And it's transforming. So this week, observe yourself, observe what you're done with, and communicate it, state it out loud. I think we're on a collective level. I think we're done with a lot of things on the geopolitical level, but a lot of things that we're done with we're also being programmed to be done with. So discernment is also important. The media and the direction that we get from the outer world, they know how our psychology works. So they always give us the space to create and manifest exactly what they want us to create and manifest. They always give us the space to have a target to throw our darts at, and to have another image to herald. So either, whatever direction we look, they're utilizing our psychology. And we have to be faster than that. We have to be sharper. Reminds me of that dream I had in 2000, I think it was 2001, 2002, where I had this dream, and I have a computer drawing that I did, that I have, and I might hopefully finally do a channel and show the image. In the dream rather that I had, it was that there was these UFOs, and they were like coming down on us. I think I mentioned this before. And they were trying to land, but they weren't trying to land on the earth, they were trying to land in our minds. And in the dream I realized that, and I wasn't going to allow it to occur, which means that my thought awareness was faster than their programming, and it was able to intercept their programming by realizing that they were trying to insert something in my frame, in my mind. And that's the kind of awareness we need these days. To be aware that February 20th is an insert. It's an editing of our matrix. It's like the editors are working on a new movie to insert on that day for us to watch. But it's also the new earth, like creating its own new film for us. So it's just where we're aligning our frequency with. We can align our frequency with what's dead and dying, or we can align our frequency with what has true life force in it. So that's it. Thanks so much for listening, all of you. I really appreciate. And hopefully I'll have time to start the book I want to start. I want to start Franz Kafka's The Trial. There's a newer translation that has come out in recent years, and I want to read that new translation. I've read several translations, and they're all just fascinating, endlessly, just full of details, full of complexity, fascinating complexity. So, and then I have some collaborations soon as well. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for listening, and see you guys next time.